Namaskritaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschacha Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you for coming. Today is the 1st of August. Hare Bo. The year is advancing. This is the 8th month of the year. So we will be doing 8th canto on Monday. And today we're concluding chapter 1 of the Gita. And our program now is going to have a new feature. I've decided that we will do not only the prayer for each class, like the Gita Mahatmya at the beginning, but we will do sloka recitation regularly. We'll time ourselves about 10 minutes from our sloka sheets so that you're constantly repeating. That's the best way to learn. You know, if you go to the temple, you sing the Tulsi song every day, you sing the Gurvastikam prayers every day, and just because you do it every day, you know it. So I decided that every time we meet, we'll recite the Bhagavad Gita slokas, and then my hope is on Monday we'll give the Green Vedic Literatures book, and we'll recite slokas from possibly NOI or something like that, or Ishopanishad, just so you become conversant with verses. So that's the way we can go more deeply, because doing the overview breakdown now takes us 5 minutes, 10 minutes. That's not new. That's not a new thing. Okay? All right, so we'll just quickly go over the key words again to just get ourselves oriented. It's our little yoga warm-up, mental yoga. Okay, so our first one is go, and our key word is stop. And from the 3rd sloka, it's wash. And from the 4th sloka, it's read. And from the 5th sloka, it's never. And from the 6th sloka, it's drink. And from the 7th sloka, it's serve. Okay, so we'll run through these very quickly. One who recites this holy scripture, the Bhagavad Gita, achieves the abode of Vishnu, which is always free from the mundane qualities based on fear and lamentation. Text 2. One who is regularly engaged in the study of the Bhagavad Gita and the practice of pranayam is never affected by the reactions of his past misdeeds. In text 3, by daily taking a bath in water, one may cleanse himself from impurities. But if one takes a bath even once in the sacred water of Bhagavad Gita, for him the dirt of material life is altogether vanquished. Text 4. The Bhagavad Gita is meant for careful recitation. And then there is no need for any other scripture, because it is directly emanated from the lotus mouth of the Supreme Lord. Okay? Text 5. By drinking the Ganges water of the Gita, the divine quintessence of the Mahabharata, emanating from Lord Vishnu's lotus mouth, one will never again take birth. Take birth in the material world. Okay, now text 6, drink. All the Upanishads are compared to a cow, and the milkman is Sri Krishna, the son of Nanda. Arjuna is the calf, and the great nectar of the Bhagavad Gita is the milk. And the fortunate devotees of fine theistic intellect are the enjoyers of that milk. And our final sloka, number 7, this is the conclusion. Remember when we talked about structure, Things always begin with a general statement, development of arguments. You see all these arguments, and our final conclusion is in the 7th verse. There need be only one scripture. Sri Krishna's divine Gita. Only one Lord. That same Krishna, the son of Devaki. Only one mantra, the chanting of his holy names. And only one duty, devotional service unto that Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. Very nice. Okay. So now we'll take out our, this is new now, so we'll see how this works. I'm going to take out the sloka sheets. Actually, I'll need one also. This thing is, oh, so much water is coming. Should we turn this off? I think maybe because it's really us to know if we're doing routine practice. Sorry, Govinda, I think we have to not put on the air conditioner. You all have your slokas? Okay. And the print is nice and big on this printout. It's good. So what I'll do, we'll do our interactive reading, and I think we'll do the Sanskrit as well. And I'll pretty much read the first part of the line, and then you all recite pretty much the last word. And then at the end, we will state what is the main point of this sloka. Why is this sloka so important? Because each one of these are the 27 required memory verses. They are the essence of the Bhagavad Gita philosophy. So if you learn these by heart, just by coming regularly and reciting these regularly, you have in capsule form the Bhagavad Gita. That's why these are taught. And preachers are taught to learn 150, but general students are required to learn these 27. Okay, so is everybody ready now with your little hand, your finger? Okay, and you have your sloka sheet, right? So our first sloka, the mistake is 214. It's 213. This is the second chapter where the philosophy of the soul begins. Okay, welcome. How are you, Diana? All right, yeah, we don't want the floor to buckle. All right. So I'm going to read most of it, and then you all read the last word. That way, you know this is the end of this line. And I should put my glasses on so we don't. And then I'll set the timer, and we'll see how long this exercise takes. Okay. We'll get ready, get set, go. Dehinosmin yata, komanam yobanam, tata dehantara, didastatra na, as the embodied continuously in this, from boyhood to youth to old, the soul similarly into another, at a sober is not bewildered by such a. So the essential point of this verse is that transmigration is happening at every moment. If people disbelieve it, you quote this verse. It's called changing bodies. The body from boyhood to youth to old age is changing, and even science admits that. So this is the sloka that proves, if you think, I don't believe the soul is transmigrating, then they have to accept this truth. Boyhood, youth, those, you're still perceiving. What's perceiving? It's not the body. The body is the perceived, not the perceiver. Okay? Our next sloka, 327. This is in the 3rd chapter. Very important sloka. Very important sloka. Prakrute Gune Karmani Sar Ahankara Kartaham iti. The spirit, bewildered by the influence of, thinks himself the of that are in carried out by the of material. Okay, and the essential point here is that the doer is actually material energy. Again, when one's on the Brahmabhuta platform, he's the soul watching it happen. All he does is desire. That's all he can do. But everything we see is being carried out by the material energy. Okay. And here she is. How are you? I heard you had some kind of a mishap. Are you okay? Material energy is dangerous. Okay. All right, now we're going to recite 4.2. Again, there was a correction on this. Now in the 4th chapter, we hear how knowledge, this is the theme. We're talking about themes here. In this chapter, we hear how there are levels of knowledge and how knowledge is to be received through the disciplic succession and by the approach to a spiritual master. So here we're hearing about the disciplic succession. Evam parampara, imam rajarshayo, sakalenaha, yogonasta. And I forgot to set the timer. Let me do that now. Because we do want to see how long this whole thing will take. Right. This supreme science was thus, through the chain of disciplic, and the saintly understood it in that, but in course of the succession was, and therefore the as it is appears to be lost. So whenever that science becomes distorted, changed, or lost, the disciplic succession has to be reinstated, renewed. So it's been spoken now by Krishna to Arjuna to start it again, to set it up again. 4.8. The reason for the Lord's appearance. The reason for the Lord's appearance. Paritranaya vinashaya cha dharma samstarpanar sambhavami yuge. All right. Translation. This is why the Lord appears. Welcome, Mataji. To deliver thee and to annihilate thee, as well as to the principles of I myself, millennium after. All right. So this is again to deliver the pious, to annihilate miscreants, and the third reason, to reestablish the principles of religion. So that's verse 4.8. So you're familiar now? Some devotees know these already, but if you're chanting these regularly on a daily basis and hearing them, you'll know the Bhagavad Gita in essence. 4.9. This is a verse quoted, I think, almost most often by Srila Prabhupada. Because just by understanding the transcendental nature of Krishna, one qualifies himself to go back to Godhead. Janma karma chame evam yoveti tyakva deham punar naiti mam eti so. Okay? This is a very important sloka. And this is important that we know the transcendental nature of Krishna. It is not a material birth that he takes. One who knows the transcendental of my and does not, upon leaving the, take his, again in this material, but attains my eternal. Oh, I think this is the most quoted verse. I've heard that. 4.9. That's why Prabhupada said we have to set up centers for hearing. People can hear the philosophy. They have hope. Okay? The next memory verse. The way to receive knowledge is not only through the parampara, but the 3 ornaments for approaching the spiritual master who should be in that disciplic succession. It's not as though you can just go to him and ask for some material benefit. That's not the reason to approach a spiritual master. And there are 3 criterion by which knowledge will descend through him. If those aren't there, lost it all. Sabdiri, Pari Krishnena, the protection contains Yanina Sattva. Just try to learn the why, a spiritual, inquire from him, and render unto the self-realized can impart unto you because they have seen the truth. All right, so the three features are approaching, submissive inquiry, and service. Those three things must be there for Krishna to send knowledge down. What goes in the name of knowledge in the material world is not what is called knowledge. Okay. All right, our next one. Chapter 5 has one memory verse. It's the final sloka. Bhuktadam yagna, sarvaloka, sukhridam sarva, yatva mam shantim. A person in full of knowing me to be the beneficiary of all and the supreme of all and the benefactor and of all living attains from the pangs of material. This is the famous peace formula. And again, the criterion. You have to understand that Krishna is the beneficiary of all sacrifice. He's the Lord of all the planets and demigods. He's the benefactor of every living entity and the well-wisher. One who understands that, he attains peace. Simple thing. That's peace from the pangs of material misery. Now, the final sloka of chapter 6, 647. After the Karma Yoga section completes, the last one is the conclusion. Remember? You have a section, you have arguments along the way. We talked about this in the final point is the conclusion. What should I have understood from all this information? So this is the final sloka of the 6th chapter, which is the final chapter of the Karma Yoga section. So now we're going to hear, we've heard about yoga, right? Now we're going to hear who's the topmost yogi. Yoginam api madgatenantar Shraddhavan bhajate yo samayuktatamo. And of all the one with great, who always thinks of me within and renders transcendental loving to, he is the most united with, in, and is the of. That is my. Right. Remember we talked about opinion. This follows the formula. Prabhupada follows the formula. We talked about the formula in creative writing. 714, such a powerful sloka. All of these are powerful. Now, this is the beginning of the Bhakti Yoga section, which goes from chapters 7 through 12. And here we have the importance of surrendering to Krishna is the only means by crossing over the material energy. Impossible. It's too powerful. 714. So remember these numbers. You haven't already learned in the Bhakti Shastri or just by the whole course of class and regular. Remember these numbers now. Then we have 15, and then we have 2.7, and then we have 4.2, 4.8, 4.9, 4.34, and the 6th chapter is the last sloka, 529, and then the 6th chapter is the final 7. So 714, very important sloka. Driving Yesha Guna, Nama Maya Gura, Nama Gaye, Nayomitam. Translation. This divine of consisting of the three of material is difficult to overcome. Suppose you have unto can easily beyond it. That's where you should read. Because it says only Krishna or his pure devotee can release you from this material energy. It's bondage, it's prison, it's a jail. Durga, there's no doubt about it. No matter what one may believe, it's a fact. And the only way you can release is the Lord Orvishad or his pure devotee Orvishad. None of the other Guna avatars can do that. Rama, Shiva explained very clearly in the So remember these numbers. We had 714, now we have 85. This is very important, including the technique. Our practice of remembrance culture is preparing us for that final moment in this karmic period, breath. It's called breath. So what you think of in breath determines the next destination. Very important. 8.5. Anta kale tamam. Smara gupta. Ya prayati samad. Vatanasya. Translation. And at the end of his, with his remembering alone attains my, of this there is no, see the whole point of Krishna is to remember Krishna. We're all preparing for that final test. Every one of us here has to take it. We don't know when. It could be the minute we step out the door. No guarantee. No guarantee. So that was number 8 point. Now we're into the 9th and confidential chapter. Confidential knowledge. 9.2. Raja Vijay Raja, Prabhutam Udam, Vidyaksavartanam, Sushrutam Karjun. Translation. This knowledge is the king of, the most secret of all. It is the purest, and because it gives direct, of the, by, it is the, of, it is, and it is, perform. 9.2. 7 points in this book. 8 points. Now in the same chapter, 9.2. The word Mahatma is applied to a lot of people. Honey, just don't please stay on this page, okay? Follow along. Can you share with your mother? It's important for you to follow along. If one doesn't, skip them. We are trying to prepare all of us here today. Okay, 9.14. Now the real qualities of a Mahatma are explained in this sloka. Because the term is often applied to what they think is anybody's a great personality, but that's not the correct understanding of Mahatma. We'll find out what is in this sloka. Satatam Kirtayanto Yatantas Chaduja Samas Ventas Samam Nitya Nitya. So let's see what a Mahatma does. Always chanting life, endeavoring with grace, bowing down before, being straight, perpetually, with, as I referred, the word is loosely applied. But that doesn't mean that's what this is upon. That's just a definition. Not some material part, it's the other part. 926. because studying means I know the fine points. If I don't know the fine points, chapter. There are 4 slokas that are the seed slokas of the whole Gita. Excuse me, the Chatra Shloki. 10.8. And you look at it, it looks like 108. That's a good thing to remember, 10.8. Aham sarvasya, mata sarvam, etimadva bhajante, Buddha bhava. Now he's saying how he's the origin of everything. I'm the source of all and worlds. Everything emanates from the wise who perfectly know, engage in my devotional and worship with all their right. 2 parts, what he is, and those who are wise, what they do. 10.9. These slokas are very important. This is the characteristic of a devotee. Madchita madgata, bodhayanta, katayantas chamam, tushanti cha, the thoughts of my pure dwell in their lives, are fully to my, and they derive great and from always one another and about. So what we're doing now is this verse. We're trying to enlighten one another and converse about Krishna. Do you find that this is blissful? Yes. Blissful. If you notice when you're not doing something like this, you're always feeling a little bit nervous. Like risky. This is not risky. You can't do something much safer, really. 10.10. Let's find out. This is a beautiful verse. How something must be done. Tesham satata, vajatam priti, dadami buddha yogam, yenamam upayanti te. Translation. Now this is the definition of how we do things. To those who are constantly to serving me with, I give thee by which they can come to. So that's the secret. Being constantly devoted. With what? Love. Yeah, not anger, envy, jealousy, politics. That's not going to get you Krishna. That's not going to get this. With love. You got to know that. When you see that happening around you, stay away. It's bad. 10.11. Tesham evanu aham jnana jam nasayami atma bhava jnana deepana. Now this verse is really reassuring to all kinds of people, because some people may not be so learned or scholarly. But that means if they're sincere, Krishna will enlighten you from within. There's hope for Krishna's not envious. He helps everybody. What he's looking for is sincerity. To show them special. I dwelling in there, destroy with the shining lamp of the darkness born of. Yes, he's in the heart. That's the only way you can get realizations. Krishna's there. He can either cover himself or he can reveal himself. It's really up to us. It's our choice. 14.4. Now we're in another chapter. We've skipped over some other chapters. Notice we've gone from 10, we've skipped over 12, which has some beautiful things in there. 13. Now we go into 14. And we find out, if you go all the way through who we are, you know, when you have a father and a great-grandfather, great-great-great, you know how we study genealogical tables in the Bhagavatam. If you go all the way up, you're going to find out who's your father. And who's your father? Krishna. If you really want to trace your family tree, that's it. Sarva Yonishu Murtaya Sambhavanti Tasham Brahma Mahad Aham Bija Prada. It should be that all of, O son of, are made possible by and this material, and that I am the Father. He's the Father of everybody. So actually, you realize everything is going back to Krishna. We're all his parts and parcels. And if you see everybody like that, you actually have the mood of a Mahatma. 1426. This is the standard of devotional service to put you on the transcendental platform. Now, a lot of people think, oh, I'm doing devotional service. I'm, cooking for Krishna, and I'm sewing a little bit, and, once in a while I do a few other things. But this is the standard. It's like, we see it like the airplane. It's on the ground, and the pilot is revving up the motor, and it goes out to the runway, and then it starts to taxi until he gets the message for takeoff. And then that plane, to have aerodynamics set in, because it's heavy, it's full of people, weighs tons. That thing has to go off the ground. It has to reach a certain speed, right? Have you been on a plane? How many of you been on an airplane? Probably most of you have been on an airplane. It's an amazing feeling, because you're there and this thing's going, and faster, and all of a sudden, it goes off the ground. Aerodynamics. It transcends the weight of gravity. So that's the comparison, and it has to hit a certain speed. And if the pilot at that moment decides to cut the engine, what's going to happen? You're back down, crashing. Right? And you can hear the wheels go thump. And it keeps going. And then it hits a certain level and it cruises. But until then, it still has to keep going up. So it's not as though if you get off the ground, that's it. If you get off the ground, that's Brahma Bhuta, it's not the end. You have to keep going to get to Prema Bhakti. Mamshayo, that's a very important word. Bhakti Yogena, Sagunan, Brahma Bhuyaya. Yes, this is Brahma Bhuya. This is the platform when Bhakti starts. We folks are on the ground revving up our engines. You're on the ground revving them up, and you got to get to a certain speed. And don't cut the engines if you get up off the ground. Or cut them before. Hit the brakes before. One who engages in full, unfailing in all, transcends of material, and thus comes to the level of. So please remember that. That's the beginning of bhakti. Unfailing in all circumstances. Oh, my Aunt Jenny's coming for the weekend, and we're going to go on a picnic together, and maybe we'll take in a movie or two. You got to think. You really got to think. We are caught, folks. If Aunt Jenny's coming, try to do something devotional with her. Try to do that, because the minute you're not, you've cut the engines on the plane. Everybody agree? You're trying to get to the Brahma Bhuta platform. Now we're going to chapter 15, 20 slokas, remember? This is a very important verse. Krishna is our maintainer at all levels, spiritual, material, cosmic, and in the heart. Sarvasya Chaham Kriti. You all that? Say it? Did I skip something? Oh, I'm so sorry. I turned to too many pages. Okay, sorry. 15:7. Forgive me. This is a verse that disproves the Mayavad philosophy. This is the verse they quote. Because if we're eternally fragmental, that means we don't merge, right? So if you want a sloka that disproves Mayavad, that's this one. Mamevam bamso Jiva Bhuta. Mana Sansatara Nini. This is a long one. Prakriti Sthani. Karshati means that hard struggle. Material world means hard struggle. The living in this condition are my fragmental. Due to condition, they are very with the six, which include the. Everybody experience that? Is it a struggle? Right? Are you struggling with the six senses, everybody? What about the mind? Anybody having trouble with that one? Karshati. The minute, you see people say, oh, here's a picture of my new baby or my grandson. And all I can think is, good luck. No, your suffering's beginning. No escape. Prabhupada's so heavy. He says from the minute the baby takes birth, the material energy is killing him. The acharyas don't mess around. They're not into just stroking the false ego. They're here to wake us up. 15:15. Sarvasya chaham kriti matasmitir jnanam apohanam vedaischa sarveraham eva vedanta krid veda vid eva. I'm seated in everyone's, and from me come knowledge, and by all thee I am to be. Indeed I am the of, and I am the knower of the. It's a nice verse. Just try to think about these throughout the day. If you can meditate on these verses, you are in samadhi. You're in samadhi. 1854. Now we've skipped over chapters 16, 17. Now we're in 18. This is the final chapter. So many nice slokas here because it's the wrap-up, right? The conclusion of all the Bhagavad Gita. Oh, here's that word Brahmabhuta again. And here's reminding us, what's that platform going to be like? And if you see somebody on that platform, he'll have these characteristics. If somebody's walking around like this, is he in Brahmabhuta? I doubt it. I doubt it. I really doubt it. Maybe, but unless they've got an unusual rasa with Krishna. Okay. Brahmabhuta, Nashochatina, Samasarveshu, Mad Bhaktim Labhate. One who is thus situated at once the Supreme and becomes fully, yes, he should be jolly. Like this lady over here. She's Brahmabhuta. If a person's not happy, they're doing something wrong in devotional service. They're doing something wrong. Fully joyful. He never or to have. Now ask yourself. You don't lament? You don't desire to have anything? Not a new TV? Okay. Maybe a new mridanga is okay. He is equally towards every living. In that state, he pure devotional unto. So we're getting a lot of definitions of what should be our symptoms. We should be really working on this. 1855. This is such a beautiful one. Beautiful, beautiful. This is the only way to get to Krishna. Only way. You can't do it by other means. Bhaktyamam Yabanyas chasmi Tato mam tadvato Vishate tad. One can, me as I, as the Supreme Personality of, only by, and when one is in full of, by such, he can enter into the kingdom of, yes, that's your criterion. That's your ticket. Check those verses out. That's why it's so nice to know the Bhagavad Gita. Don't just distribute it, folks. Read it. Memorize these slokas. Chant them while you're in the shower, brushing your teeth, washing the floor. Your life will be sublime, and your airplane will go off the ground. 1861, another nice verse. This is what happens when you get to the mode of goodness. Normally when you're looking around in the world, it looks like everybody's independently moving. Oh, that person's there, and like she's sitting there, and she's turning her page, and he's just shuffling around. And it looks like everybody's acting independently. But when you hit the mode of goodness, you realize they're all working in unison. Like on a machine. You'll see that. Because see, the mode of goodness enables you to see things as they are. And I forgot to pack along my 3 colored plastic sheets. To put a yellow one in front of you, a red one in front of you, a blue one in front of you, and see how it affects you. And then a clear one. I've got those. So when you're looking through the modes, from blue it's very dark. Red it's a little less dark. Yellow I can start to see the truth. Clear is Vishuddha-sattva. I see it as it is. Ishvara sarva. Kridishe Arjuna. Ramayan sarva. Yantra Rurani. Now think of this when you're in the temple. Watch people now. Remember this verse. It's different. You'll see things differently. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, and is directing the of all living who are seated as on a made of the material. Try it out. Don't just go to the temple and, oh yeah, there's my friend. Watch to see how everybody's moving, and remember this verse. It's mind-blowing. Okay, our next sloka. 1865. Beautiful verse. Beautiful verse. Another promise from Krishna. Manmana bhava. Madhyaji mam. Mami vaishasi satyam. Patijane priyos. Always think of. Become my worship. And offer your unto. Thus you will come to without I you this because you are my very dear friend. Simple. 4 things. 4 things. He doesn't say work in a factory all night. I mean, maybe if that's what you do for your service, but, you know, he doesn't make it too tough. 1866. This is the conclusion. Famous verse. Sarvadharman mamekam sharanam aham tvam sarva mokshayishyami ma. Abandon all varieties of and just surrender unto. I shall deliver you from all sinful. Do not fear. Joy. Let's see how long that took. Of course, we did a little bit of editorializing. Well, that was 34 minutes. I'm sure we can cut this down. But I thought we would start this kind of thing and maybe try to do it within 10 or 15 minutes. Did you like this exercise? Yes. I think this is very good. We regularly recite these slokas. And when you're doing your floors and you're cleaning your teeth and you're changing the diapers or whatever you have to do, you're always thinking of Krishna. Very good. Bhagavad Gita is non-different, okay? All right, now take out your magic slates really quickly. We'll do our little 2-minute overview. These don't take long now. This was our first program when we first started these classes, when Shama and her daughter with me, and we were in the primitive stages of this whole concept. We were just learning basic things. But now we're trying to really add on, go more deeply. So our process is to master the minimum. What do we do? Right, you get the structures. No, I got the wrong one there. I think I can step back. We had a leaking air conditioner, so I had to get out of the whirlpool. Okay, have your slates? Everybody ready to go? You write what I write and say what I say, and you hear what I say and write what. Okay, hear, see, say, write. For maximum results, you want everybody to realize his full potential, and your full potential is spiritual. In the material world, they say that it's a slogan. I want these children to realize their full potential, but that's their karma. That's not their full potential. Their full potential is to become reinstated eternally in the spiritual world, in the service of Krishna, in your Swarup. That's what we're really aiming for. This particular body is not going to last you forever. It's full of trouble. Everybody agree? It's going to die. There's no place safe in the world. Danger at every step. Enemies all around you. It's no place for a picnic. Your full potential is being reinstated in your eternal spiritual service to Krishna. So we open up our computer to this file. What is it? Bhagavad Gita. And we turn to the first chapter. And it opens up to how many verses? 46. And our memory link is the Sanskrit alphabet. It has 46 characters. And we take the help of the study guide, which shows we have either 1881 or you've got the Bhakti Shastri. Our 1881 is just, we just took the Bhakti Shastri study guide and we just, copy-pasted it. We just put it in a different mind map. So study guides help you, because otherwise you may not detect the breakdowns. A lot of people have studied the Gita, and they're getting references not just from within ISKCON, they're going back to Baladev Vijabhushana, they're going back through the Parampara. You don't need to have the study guide. The little one, 1881, is sufficient. So it shows, I'm just saying that 1881 is nothing but a compressed version of those points. So that shows that this chapter has 4 topics. How many? 4 topics. Okay. And we always compress the topic to one word and a signal. So the first word is war. Right? And you can put a W for that. And our second signal word is victory. That's easy. 2 fingers. The peace sign during the 60s in America. Peace, brother. WV. Right? And the third one is Krishna. So we can put a K. He's okay. And the last one is who? Arjuna. Oh, look at all those 64 million warriors. I'm supposed to kill them all. I'm not sure that's a good idea, Krishna. Can I tell you why? He's going to give him 4 reasons why. War, victory, Krishna, and Arjuna. Okay, war, victory, Krishna, Arjuna. Now we're adding on. We're going higher up on the ladder of knowledge now, right? These are called levels of knowledge. So now you're ready to graduate. Where are these topics? 1, 2, 13. This is what gives us the setting to the drama. Who's in the play? Where are they? And what's the problem? This is in every drama. Who are the characters? Where are they situated? And what's the conflict? If there's no conflict, there's no drama, right? No drama. 1 through 13 slokas. Now, signs of victory. Where do we see those? This is giving us a prediction at the very beginning of the Gita as to who's going to win. And we will find those tips in 14 through 20. 14 through 20. we'll get the songs of victory. And again, we may not detect it. You have to have the purports. The purports will enlighten you. Inner meaning. Remember, underview. Otherwise, you just read the verses. We're doing overview. And this is our ground view. But unless you read the purports, you don't know. Now, Krishna is shown to be Bhakta Vatsal. This is the amazing thing about God. You know, the whole world sees God as a controller, but Krishna is controlled by his devotee. So here's 21 to 27. He's driving a chariot. That's not a very big position. You know, that's like saying, well, my rickshawwala, he's the most important person in Vrindavan. And I don't think too many people would say that. You know, it's not, you know, I have a driver. I have a man who drives my car. He's not probably the most important person you know, right? So when God decides to drive a chariot, that's pretty much stepping down, right? On what we would call the social scale. You know, he's not trying to sit up on a big throne. He can do that, but he doesn't like to do that for his devotee. He likes to serve his devotee. So, you know, they say the Mayavadis want to become God. But he said the devotees want to be greater than God. Because God serves them. Yeah, God serves them. Now, Arjuna is going to tell Krishna why he doesn't want to fight in verses what? 28 to 46. 46, okay? So erase that, and in 1 second, write it again. From memory. Because now you know the structure. You have mastered the minimum. This is the minimum amount of knowledge of the first chapter. Without this, you're just reading a bunch of words. You don't quite get the structure. It's the X-ray. If you have a back problem, your doctor will put you in front of an X-ray machine and he'll see what's wrong with your spinal column. So this will give you the X-ray of chapter 1. What's the structure? And we will do signals now for the... Did you all get it right? Check with your neighbor. Check to be sure everybody got it right. By now you guys should know this in and out. This we've been doing for so long, it should be part of your pen drive. But it's essential to keep going over because you have to bring the information up on your computer before you can go further. Now here are signals for the 4 doubts. Right? What's your first doubt? Arjuna's first doubt is what? Compassion. I don't want to kill my relatives. Okay, compassion. Second argument. Enjoyment. How can I the reason we do anything in this world is for the sake of friends and family. You know how the other day we had a birthday cake? I didn't order the cake and just sit in my room and eat it all myself. We asked some people to come and enjoy with us. So he's saying, but if I kill them all, I can't, how can we enjoy the kingdom? Right? If I didn't invite you people to come for the birthday cake, that's not much fun. Everybody had fun because you all had some cake. So this is enjoyment. I like to share with my friends and family. Now the third reason, he's afraid of what? Sinful reaction. Yeah, you don't go around killing your guru or your teacher or your elders. You don't do that. It's worse than just anybody. And the final one is? Yes, the destruction of the dynasty. If I destroy a dynasty, it's the whole planet goes to hell. That's really serious arguments, right? So, sinful reaction and destruction of the dynasty. Okay, so we've all got that. Now what we're going to do, we're going to quickly open our yellow books, because now you guys have the structure. And we are going to time ourselves and race through these verses now, noting how the argument builds up. I think you like reading together. Do you all like reading together? It's very powerful. It's very powerful. So the yellow book, and I have an extra one here somehow, if somebody doesn't have one, and look over it with somebody. And we want to see how quickly we can read a chapter. Not that it says the Gita should be read with careful recitation, but at this point, we're not being careless, but we want to see first chapter is called Observing the Armies on the Battlefield of what? Kurukshetra. That's the place. Okay. You all able to work together there? Get your book ready. Get ready. Get set. Because once we go, we go. Use your little finger to pace yourself. And let's read nice and loud. Because it's powerful. It's powerful. It goes deep. All right, I'll start, and when I stop, you say the next word. And I'll set the timer. 1.1. Dhritarashtra said, "Oh, after my sons and the sons of assembled in the place of at desiring to what did they? 1.2. Sanjaya said, "Oh, after looking over the arranged in military by the sons of King, went to his and spoke the following 1.3. Oh my, behold the great of the sons of, so expertly by your intelligent, the son of 1.4. Now here we're finding the list of the good guys. Here in this army are many heroic, equal in fighting to, and great fighters like Virata and 1.5. They're also great, heroic, powerful, like Chaitanya, Kasiraj, Kunti Bhoja, and now more of them, 1.6. They're the mighty, the very powerful, the son of, and the sons of. All these warriors are great chariot. So that's the Pandava side. Now you're going to hear the bad guys, the Kaurava side. 1.7 is where that starts. But for your, best of the, let me tell you about the, who are especially to lead my military. 1.8. Now he's going to glorify his men. There are personalities like Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Vikarna, and the son of, called, who are always in, yes, they're great generals. 1.9, now he's really glorifying them. There are many other who are prepared to lay down their for my sake. All of them are well with different kinds of, and all are experienced in military. Now he's predicting that we may lose. We may lose. 1.10. Now this is a comparative. Compare, contrast. Our strength is, and we are perfectly protected by grandfather, whereas the strength of the carefully protected by is, this is a compare, contrast verse. 111. Now here's the injunction. All of you must now give full to grandfather as you stand at your respective strategic of entrance into the, of the, now he's warning everybody, Bhishma's old, but you better support him. He's a diplomat. He's glorifying somebody, but he's also warning him, don't get relaxed. Now the beginning. Then, 1.12, then the great valiant of the Kuru, the grandfather of the, blew his very, making a sound like the, of a, giving Duryodhana And in this sloka, we have a simile. When you have the word like or as, it's called a what? Simile. Say it. This is a poetic device. He made a sound like the what? Roar of a. That's a simile. This is a poetic device. 113. This is the last verse. After that, the conch shells, drums, trumpets, and were all suddenly, and the combined sound was? That's it. Got the picture? Preparations for war. And the conch shells indicate we're starting. Now, signs of victory. 1:14. On the other side, both Lord Krishna and stationed on a great, drawn by white, sounded their transcendental. Okay, now the other side is blowing the conch shells, but they're transcendental. 1:15. Lord Krishna blew his conch shell called. Arjuna blew his the. And Bhima, the voracious and performer of, blew his terrific conch shell called. So now you got 3 conch shells going. King, the son of Kunti, blew his the, and Nakula and Sahadev blew the, and Mani, that great archer, the king of, that great fighter Shikandi. Next is Drishtadyumna, Virata, the unconquerable, Drupada and the sons of, and the others, such as the mighty armed son of, all blew their respective. Can you imagine that noise? Whoa. Here's what happens when they heard it. 119. The blowing these different conch shells became vibrating both in the and on the. It shattered the of the sons of. Yes. Whoa. Formidable enemies here. Our last verse, 120 in this section. At that time, Arjuna, the son of, seating in the chariot bearing the flag marked with, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his. O king, after looking at the sons of, drawn in military, Arjuna then spoke to Lord these. That's the end of the signs, right? Krishna, the horses, the chariot, the conch shells, the goddess of fortune. Signs of what? Victory in those slokas. Now from 21. Krishna is Bhakta Vatsal. Arjuna is ordering the Lord to drive him he's telling you, drive me around. That's pretty far out. 121 to 22. Arjuna said, "O infallible, please draw between the two, so that I may see those present who desire to, and with whom I must, in this great of." He knows who's there. He knows. It's not as though all of a sudden he's surprised. 123. Let me see those who have come here too, wishing to please thee, son of. 124. Now back to Sanjaya. Sanjaya said, "O descendant of," having thus been addressed by Lord Krishna, drew up the fine in the midst of the armies of both. And 125. In the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all the other of the Lord said, "Just behold, all the Kurus assembled." There they are. You're ready to go. Ready to kill 64 million people. That's pretty heavy. 126. There Arjuna could see within the midst of the armies of both his fathers, grandfathers, maternal, brothers, sons, friends, and also his and well-wishers. Well-wishers on the other side? Wait a minute. 127. When this is the last sloka. When the son of Kunti, Arjuna, saw all these different grades of, and he became with and spoke. So that leads into the first sign, which is what? So from 128 to where? 146. We're going to hear the 4 arguments. You got the picture? Now you can understand the slokas. Arjuna said, my dear, seeing my friends and present before me in such a fighting, I feel the limbs of my body and my mouth drying. Oh, I don't feel, that's like, this is a warrior. Warriors don't do that. Warriors are, Arjuna's not a wimp. Arjuna, the great warrior, right? And now he's getting a quivering of the body and his mouth is drying up. Something's wrong. 129, my whole body is, my hair is standing, and my bow is slipping from my, can you imagine him dropping his bow? And my skin is 130. I'm now unable to stand here any. I'm forgetting. My mind is, I see only causes of, oh Krishna, killer of the Keshi. I do not see how any can come from killing my own in this. Nor can I, my dear, desire any subsequent kingdom or there's enjoyment. Oh, I can't be happy without them. They're only causing him a hard time. None of these people were nice to Arjuna. Were they nice to Arjuna? You know, trying to burn him in a lac house and poison cake, and come on. You're not going to have fun with people like this. 132 to 35. Brilliant. Oh, of what avail to us are a happiness, and even when all those for whom we may desire are now arrayed on this? Yeah, this is who we want this for. I don't want the kingdom for myself. Oh, Madhusudan, when teachers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, grandsons, brothers-in-law, and other are ready to give up their and are standing before, why should I wish to kill them, even though they may otherwise kill? O maintainer of all, I am not prepared to, with them, even in exchange for the 3, let alone this. What pleasure will we derive from killing the sons of? Now he's looking for pleasure. Enjoyment. Number 136. This is the 3rd argument. Where does it start? 136. Sin will, if we slay such, they're aggressors. But still, if we slay them, what will happen? Sin. Therefore, it is not proper for us to the sons of and our friends. My God. On the battlefield. What should we? Oh, husband of the goddess of. How could we be? By killing our own. Happiness again comes up. Oh, although these men, their hearts overtaken by, see no in killing one's family or quarreling with. Now this is true. If you find people like that, don't descend to their platform. You'll be just as bad. So he's saying that. Why should, who can see thee in destroying a, engage in these acts of sin? Why should we do what they're doing? Don't go down to that platform. 139. Now, these verses we're going to read the purports to. 139 to 143 is what is the destruction of a dynasty. What happens? With the destruction of the eternal family is, makes sense. Everything you've ever learned and taught is gone, wiped away. And the rest of the family becomes involved in, that's not a good thing. 140, next thing that happens. This is a chain of events. Chain. When irreligion is in the the women of the family become, and from the degradation of descendant of comes unwanted. That's what's all over the planet. Unwanted children all over the planet. All over the planet. 141. Now this is what happens when the planet is full of unwanted children. An increase of unwanted certainly causes, both for the family and for those who destroy the family. Yes, nobody's spared. It's true. Even if you don't have your own kids. If other people have kids who are dangerous, are you peaceful? No. Everybody suffers. Somebody may say, I'm going to be a sannyasi, no kids for me. I'm above it. But if the whole world is going to hell, you're not above anything. Right? Nobody's spared. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall because the performances for offering them and are entirely, even the ancestors who've already left, if they don't get their ablutions, then they fall down. 142. By the evil of those who destroy the family and thus give rise to unwanted, all kinds of community and family welfare are, everything collapses. Look around you. The last verse from, these are so important, these songs. Oh, Krishna, maintainer of the... Now he's saying, Krishna, you're maintainer of the people. You're telling me to destroy everything. I have heard by that those who destroy family traditions dwell always in... Now you're asking me to do that. That's a scary thing. Now, 144, the last 3 slokas. He's given his arguments. Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly, driven by the desire to enjoy royal. We are intent on our own. I don't understand. 145, better for me if the sons of weapons in were to kill me and on the last verse. Sanjaya said, Arjuna, having thus on the cast aside his and sat down on his mind overwhelmed with grief. Okay, let's see how long that took us. That took us 16 minutes. Not too bad. Okay, now open your little book and let us turn to the purports, to 139 and 143. Because these are very important for all of us today in the age of Kali Yuga. Did everybody, I just need to know, do you people like doing this? Is this helpful? You know, some people have really requested it because it's important to just keep the different stages of our study in sequence. We know the structure. Now we've heard the slokas in accordance with the structure. Now we understand according to the purports. So let's turn to chapter 1. So we haven't time for all. This will be the last day we spend on this canto, or this chapter. 139. Chapter 1. From 39 to 43, we get this explanation of the destruction of the dynasty. This is very important for us to understand because it's what prevails in Kali Yuga. It's what prevails. Now remember what our secret is. We read the first sentence, we count the number of points, and we see the conclusion. The conclusion usually starts with therefore. Okay? So your first sentence is your general statement. Your last sentence is your conclusion. And we will count how many points the writer, Srila Prabhupada, makes in this purport. Now our verse is, with the destruction of dynasty, the eternal family tradition is, and the rest of the family becomes involved in practices. So that is what Prabhupada will now explain. Now his first sentence is important. It's always important. So recite when I stop. In the system of the institution, there are many principles of tradition to help members of the grow and attain spiritual. That's what Varnashram is meant to do. It's not a caste system. It's meant to help people grow properly and attain what? Spiritual values. What is going on in India in the name of Varnashram is not Daivi Varnashram. It's by birth you're this or this or that. It's not by qualities. So that's your general statement. Now, let's get the first point. The elder members are responsible for such purifying in the beginning from birth to... So who's responsible? The elders. Who else? If you know something, you got to pass it down. They're responsible. Point 2. But on the death of the elder members, such family of may and the remaining younger family may develop habits and thereby their chance for serious. It's their chance for salvation. This is a very important purport. It's not just as though it doesn't matter what granddaddy didn't tell me. If he doesn't pass on the values, you lose your chance for spiritual salvation. We all take birth. We're all going to die. Do we want to do it like cats and dogs? Do you want anybody you know to die like a cat and a dog? No. Now, that was our second point. The final one is our conclusion. There were 2 points, right? That the elders are responsible, and that if they're not there, what happens to the young? They lose their chance for spiritual salvation. Conclusion starts with what word? Therefore. Just these are signal words. For no purpose should the elder of the family be slain. Yes. You don't go around getting rid of somebody's grandfather or mother or father, because what happens to the kids? Right? You're a mom. Right? They depend on you. They depend on you. Do they appreciate you, I hope? You appreciate your mother? You're good to your mother. I'm sure they're good boys. Good boys, huh? How about you, Melanie? You appreciate your mother? Yes, sometimes, huh? Hey, look, you guys are dependent on... your mother is your guru. Your mother, she's mom. You're his guru. The first guru is mother and father. She has a wonderful son, and you have a wonderful son. You have a son also. I don't know him, but I'm sure he's a good boy. Text 40. Now, let's read the first sentence. This is the general statement. Good population in human society is the basic for peace. prosperity, and spiritual progress in. That is a general statement. What does good population mean? It means what? Peace? Does everybody want peace? Yes. Does everybody want? Do you want spiritual? Then what do you have to have? Good population. You're not going to get it out of a bad population. Are you? Is the world peaceful? No. Is it prosperous? No, everybody's struggling for money, 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 money. What about spiritual values? Anybody want them? And that's what is going to happen when you don't have what? So what's wrong with the world? We don't have good population. Let's go to our last sentence. It's a long one. Irresponsible men also adultery in and thus unwanted flood the human at the risk of and war is the result of this. Pestilence means disease, widespread. This is what happens. On the planet, I don't know how many wars are going on right now. Something like 300 different places wars are going on. Don't quote me. I don't remember hearing the exact number, but it's everywhere. Is there peace, prosperity? No. Everybody's fighting with you. Now, let's go through these points. The Varnashram religious principles were so that the good population would, in society for the general spiritual of state and general. Is that what your politicians are arguing about? No. That was your first point. Such population depends on the chastity and faithfulness of its. Right, women are important. They're important. That's your second point. As children are very prone to be, women are similarly very prone to very easily misled. They're simple. They're simple. Very easily misled. Children, right? Very easy. A little bit of bad association, finished. Women too. You get them in the wrong company and they're misled. Therefore, both children and women require by the elder of the, and this doesn't mean you enslave them. You protect them. And you engage them for their elevation. By being engaged in religious, women will not be into. Yeah, you got to know, man, there are a lot of people out there who are ready to exploit you. You get stuck with the baby and they're off. According to Chanakya Pandit, women are generally not very, and therefore not. Now, you have to be a devotee to accept that. But devotee women are different. Right? They're far more intelligent than a non-devotee man. You agree? You meet a non-devotee man, he thinks he's his body. You're already more intelligent. So the different family traditions of religious activities should always, and thus their, and will give to a good, eligible for participating in the. So you get the point? That if women are properly engaged, then the children will be properly equipped to engage in the Varnashram system and save themselves. You want your kids to be saved? Of course. On the failure of such Varnashram dharma, naturally the become free to and mix with And thus adultery is indulged in at the risk of... And our final sentence, no, they're just not laying it on the women. That's not fair. Irresponsible, also adultery in, and thus unwanted, flood the human at the risk of war and... Okay, so you see how to go through these purports? Read your first sentence. Read your last sentence. Click off the points. And it will be very deep. And think about it. These purports are meant for us to understand the reality we face. Did you find that helpful? Yes. These purports are Prabhupada's ecstasies. They are his ecstasy. And when you read it this way, do you not feel it? Do you not feel the depth of his wisdom? And we'll give you one statistic. I don't know if I should even quote this, but someone has told me that across the street, this is how bad it is, at the Bond College, right? Don't think, this is Vrindavan, right? The Dham. That 80% of the female students have had abortions. Now that means that they will never see the light of day. You see what happens? They're not aware. They're not aware. They're not aware of what they're doing. One act can destroy you for life, for millions of births. If you don't know the scriptures, if you don't know how to follow them, one act can destroy you for lifetimes. It's terrifying. So please, go home, read these purports. Now, we have your speaker here. I am going to go through each chapter. You can listen to it. I'll turn this on. It should turn on. I recharged the battery. Now that's the temple. Now, in the pen drive, you can put what you want to hear. These are the slokas.
Whatever you read, whatever
right?
you offer or give away.
You can listen to the slokas. You have all of this. We've given you all.
O son of Kunti, as an offering to me.
And
Aham sarvasya Twamadarpanam.
see if I have the purports. Because we've given you the purports. You can now hear these purports.
Text 40.
Okay, here we go. Text 40.
Adharma bhavat Krishna padusyanti kulastriya trishu dushtashu varshneya jayate varna sankaraha. When irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood,
just what we studied,
of Krishna, comes unwanted.
So you study it first, and then when you hear it,
good
it
population
sticks.
in human society is the basic principle for peace, prosperity, and spiritual progress in
What
life.
did we just say?
The Varna Ashram religion's principles were so designed that the good population would prevail in society for the general spiritual progress of state and community. Such population depends on the chastity and faithfulness of its womanhood. As children are very prone to be misled, women are similarly very prone to degradation. Therefore, both children and women require protection by the elder members of the family. By being engaged in various religious practices, women will not be misled into adultery. According to Chanakya Pandit, women are generally not very intelligent and therefore not trustworthy. So the different family traditions of religious activities should always engage them, and thus their chastity and devotion will give birth to a good population eligible for participating in the Varnashram system. On the failure of such Varnashram dharma, naturally the women become free to act and mix with men, and thus adultery is indulged in at the risk of unwanted population. Irresponsible men also provoke adultery in society, and thus unwanted children flood the human race at the risk of war and pestilence.
Does that, now that you've studied it, now when you hear it, what happens? It's completely, do you see that? It's stuck. If you just hear it, what do you remember? Very little. But now, we've tried to show you the sequence. Learn your structure, analyze your purports, count the points, think about them, and then when you hear, is there a big difference? Big difference. It sticks. So we thank you all for coming today. We have the prasad.